Today I will be playing with this new eyeshadow palette from Nomad Cosmetics called Fairy Tale Europe, inspired by castles, princesses, and magic. In this video, you will see 4 look tutorials, and the makeup that I'm wearing right now on my eyes is one of the looks. All the 4 looks will be inspired by Disney characters. Whether it's going to be a good character or maybe a villain, I hope you recognize them as we go along. I'm very excited for this video. Let's get into it. The Fairy Tale eyeshadow palette has very beautiful holographic design on the palette. This is an 18 pen palette. This is a larger format of the eyeshadow palette from Nomad Cosmetics. The castle image is an additional carving that is attached to the face of the palette. It has a dimension to it. It's so beautiful. The outer packaging also is super beautiful, resembles the palette itself, and then there's a diagram of the shades and some additional information on the palette. I absolutely love how Nomad takes their theming and does this absolutely amazing execution every single time, in my humble opinion. And this time the palette came with a little booklet that had quite a few pages in it, and it had a full fairy tale story that I actually took my time to read, and I thought it was so much fun. Nomad Cosmetics never cuts out on details on their inspiration. They're just taking it the whole way down without cutting any corners, and I'm here for it. Fairy Tale Europe palette entails Tinkerbell sparkles, princess hues, and storybook neutrals formulated with extra fine pigments and prismatic pearls for fairy tale feel and magical color payoff. Infused with apple fruit extract to help skin look as fresh as Sleeping Beauty. 6 versatile mattes paired with 8 belle of the ball shimmers and 4 transforming multi-chromes inspired by Happily Ever After in Fairy Tale Europe. The inspiration is Happily Ever After coordinates in a land far away. This neutral row on the bottom of the palette was inspired by all the castles. There is an Alcazar de Segovia, there is the Chateau de Chambord, a Neuschwanstein from Germany. This is such an amazing inspiration in my opinion. I am very excited to play with this palette and show you all the look tutorials. Let's get into it. Okay guys, for this first look, I really thought I would get an inspiration from Princess Jasmine. I think she is just such an icon. I think I'm gonna start with a neutral base a little bit, and we're gonna do a little bit of an eyeliner moment because she has this beautiful almond shaped eyes. Of course, something blue and sparkly on the lid. In this video, I'm gonna be speeding through the application a little bit, and then at the end of the look, I will show you the swatches and we'll talk about the shades. This is the first finished look. I am very content how this came out. Everything blended so beautifully into each other. Now let's talk about the shades. So I used all these 4 neutral shades. These blended like a dream, no effort whatsoever. This lighter shade is more of a lid setting shade. It definitely has a hint of undertone, but it's more of a lid setting shade for me. They definitely pull a little bit more cooler tone on me. So let's talk about the shimmers. This darker shimmer shade is called Snow Queen. Shade that is a little bit thicker, a little bit more textured, needs to be sprayed. I do advise you do your makeup look first. However, as you can see, my complexion was already done today and I didn't really experience fallout that much. There were just very few little specks, but I brushed them off very easily. So I would advise you to do your makeup first. However, I made it out just okay today. The second shimmer is called Sleeping Beauty, and I feel like the camera is struggling to pick it up because it is very thin formula. This is a formula that we've seen in Chicago Speakeasy. It's one of my favorite from Nomad. It's just so beautiful. It's like glossy, it's so smooth. Kind of goes from like purplish and silver, and has some very fine like green specks and gold. I think that the camera is just generally struggling to pick it up. To my liking, I think it's super beautiful. It doesn't accentuate the texture, it's just very, very thin, smooth formula. If we're talking about the multi-chrome effect, I think it has very, very subtle shift. The last shade is called Snow White and is that beautiful multi-chrome that shifts from gold to pink, a little bit of green. It's just so stunning. I needed to spray it to show up this much in my inner corner. Let me know what you think of this makeup look. Let's move on to look number 2. So for the second look, I'm using the inspiration of Belle from Beauty and the Beast. I'm gonna begin from doing the base of my look with these 4 shades, just the same way we did for this eye. This is a finished second look. Let me know what you think of this one. These are the shades that I use. My base of this look was the same as the first look. These 2 shimmers, let's talk about them. This gold shimmer is called Belle. And again, this is the shimmer that is a little bit more textured. I find that this needs to be sprayed or applied with a finger. I definitely have a good amount of fallout here, and I try to remove it and some specks are still left. This last shimmer shade that I use in my inner corner is called Prince Charming, and this is the beautiful, beautiful multi-chrome. Again, I'm looking at the viewfinder and I definitely realize that the camera does not do it justice. It applies beautifully on its own on a dry brush, but if you spray it, it really just takes it 5 steps up. Really enjoyed how all these textures came together so nicely. Let me know what you think of this look. Now we're moving on to look number 3. Hey guys, for this third look, I want to go into this side of the palette and do something more bold, more smoky. This shade is definitely calling my name. It's so pretty. So let's get into it. I accomplished more than I expected from this makeup look. I definitely had a vision in mind, but I think it came out even more beautiful than I thought it would. The shimmers that I use in this look, they're just so stunning. I think they just go together so well in just such an unexpected way, in my opinion. So let's talk about these. Are all the shades that I used for this look. I used 4 mattes. I started with the 2 neutral lighter shades and I went into more of like this gray shade, and then I used this deepest shade. It's a charcoal, it's not black shade. All these shades were very easy to work with. I can't stay away from this shimmer. It's absolutely beautiful multi-chrome. There's like pink and gold and green. It's just so gorgeous. Here I use it in the inner corner and I also brought it up in my brow bone. So this darker shimmer was an inspiration for this entire look. I think it does have that almost like a dark charcoal base, and then it has this beautiful fine complex shimmer combination. It has like green and gold. I'm not sure if this is a multi-chrome though, because The palette says to have 4 multichromes. So far I found 3 because they also have similar formula. It's this formula. It's very smooth and glossy. This one, I think it's just a complex shimmer. It does have a little bit of texture, so I did end up spraying my brush and I took my time with it. That was a little bit more of a fallout here, so it's definitely one of those shades that you want to work on your eye makeup look before you do your base. I think the name Magic Spell is spot on. Perfect name for this shade because it's just truly gorgeous. Okay guys, for this final last look, the red lips I think giving me away, but we're doing the Snow White. Let's begin. Okay guys, this is the final look in today's video. Let me know what you think. So this makeup look was very simple. The 4 neutral shades that I used quite a bit in this video, and this absolutely gorgeous multi-chrome that I placed in my inner corner on my brow bone. I also had a little bit of fun with this shade and applied it in the center of my lips and also use it as my highlighter. I think this shade is absolutely stunning. It's definitely one of my favorites. So let me give you my first impression, final thoughts on this Fairy Tale Europe eyeshadow palette from Nomad Cosmetics. The packaging is so beautiful. I just really love this holographic shift to it. It just looks like a kid's fairy tale book. If you are a Disney fan, I think you can definitely feel the feels when holding this palette or looking at it. The castles, the princesses, the magic, the memories of the good characters, and then there's a little bit of a villain, like magic spell, a moment in this palette. I just love the inspiration, and needless to say, right? Let's talk about the color story and then the quality. I definitely shared a lot of thoughts in today's video while I was doing my looks, so I hope you caught all that as well. I think that the color story reflects inspiration. We're talking about different princesses as well as the castles. And when we're talking about like history and castles, of course, all these neutral, stony shades come to mind. And I think it just makes complete sense. Back in the days, everything was either made out of stone, brick, or wood. These are basically the shades that represent those 3 elements. And I think it's just spot on, makes sense. And as far as all these beautiful shimmers here representing all these princesses, all these beautiful classical characters, I think it all makes sense. I know the majority of these shades are named after like good, kind characters, but I, for some reason, sensed a little bit of a villain moment here in this corner. And my third look that I did in this video definitely gave me like an Ursula moment. I also enjoyed that there are a few different formulations of the shimmers. I know that the owners of Nomad Cosmetics put up a poll on their social media asking their audience if they enjoyed the mixture of different shimmer formulas, and I think majority of people liked that. From my experience with Nomad brand, they listen to their audience, and I have a lot of respect for that. I generally think this is a very fun palette. I definitely enjoyed these neutral shades here. This side of the palette definitely pulls a little bit more on a cooler tone for me, but the quality is so good. This shade is more of my lid setting shade. This palette is definitely a little bit more colorful, even though there are neutrals here. Like these 3 multichromes, I feel like they're such a beautiful thin formula. You can apply them in like very thin, light layer, and they're perfectly beautiful for everyday. I definitely see that this palette could be for a neutral lover for everyday wear, but there's definitely quite a bit of colorful shimmers here. In that way, it's just something for you to decide whether it would be a useful palette for you to have, but it's definitely a fun, inspirational palette. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, found this helpful. Let me know which makeup look was your favorite today. Let me know which character, which Disney princess or a villain is your favorite, whether you're shopping for this palette or not. let me know either way. Maybe you already have something else that you're using and loving in your collection that is similar to this. But if you decide to pick up this palette, you are more than welcome to use my non-affiliated code EVE10 to save you 10% off of this palette. If you enjoyed this video, if you'd like to see more eyeshadow palette dedicated videos from Nomad Cosmetics or other brands, I will have the playlist link for you at the end of the video in the cards to watch next. Thank you so much for watching this video till the end and hanging out with me today, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye.